We are All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Ron Phares. My pronouns are he, him. Good morning. It's good to be with you again. It feels like it's been, I think, a lot longer than it has been. It feels like it's been a long time since I've seen you, but that's what COVID will do to a brain. So it's very good to be back. And I can say, we made it. A new year, the holidays are behind us. The festive markers of the season have been put away until the calendar gets thin again. Our guests have gone. We have returned from being guests. Somewhere someone is wooing your return to this place. Our travels have concluded. Our dwellings are more spacious, more empty, quiet. This is a new day. And though we have spent considerable energy reminding ourselves in this deep midwinter that the light will return, in fact, modeling that return, both following and being the star that promises life and long days of abundance, we still have a ways to go before that promise is fulfilled. And so we abide in the newly emptied chambers of our homes and souls, and we wait, not entirely passively. This is a new day, just like it was last year and the year before. So it's a new day. This is a day of return and renewal. It's a time, this is a precious time to take stock, to evaluate, to understand where you are and where you want to be, and to adjust or affirm as needed. That's where we are right now. It's a time to be at home in the most fundamental and metaphorical sense of that word. And so, to begin again, to return, to renew, may I suggest that we begin with an equally fundamental and metaphorically relevant practice of breathing. So I invite you now to soften your gaze, to close your eyes, if you wish, to take a deep breath in through the mouth and a slow release through the nostrils, and an inhale through the nostrils and a gentle but full exhale through the mouth. Roll your neck and shoulders. I'm going to lead you in a little bit of box breathing. So that means whichever orifice you want to use to breathe, do that one. There's only two, just in case. And you'll breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in and out with a really big ah. This breath is your doorway home. It is sacred. It is shared. It has moved through tree and shrub and critter, through each other, and all those who have tended and been tended by this land for millennia, the Ute, Comanche, Arapaho, Apache, Cheyenne, Kiowa, Pawnee, and Lakota, and now you as well. Like breath, may this gathering be a shared and reciprocal source of vitality and comfort. We welcome all souls here. We especially want to make sure that those who historically have been made to feel unwelcome in various places and times are welcome here. Our Black and brown siblings, our trans and queer kin, know that this place, we're not only welcome, but celebrated for the glorious and beautiful full person that you are. And here, by the way, isn't just here. Here extends to our remote viewers joining from home, and if we can give them a happy salutation. Greetings all, thank you for zooming in. We are here at home, a community returning, renewing, and becoming again. Let us announce this community in song.
Good morning again. Last week, Reverend Ron asked me to consider the changes that I've seen in All Souls or the UUA over the years. And I thought to myself, okay. And then I thought, there are a whole lot of people who have a wider and deeper memory and knowledge of All Souls than I do. And I wish I'd talked Ron into asking them to do this today. But here I am. I've been a member for close to 25 years. I was very active in the first 11 or 12 years. And then I started a business and took an extended break from attendance, not from membership. And then I've been back at it for these last few years. Now, since 1998, when we first started attending, we've had three interim periods with a total of 6 professionals serving during those periods. We've had 3 settled ministers and 2 long-term choir directors. I'm hoping this is number 3 to stick around in the double digits. I'm pretty sure we've topped 5 RE directors and more administrators than that. And the church was around for more than 100 years before I even started coming. It was here through wars and cultural turmoil, congregational and community disquiet. I've heard that Unitarian Universalism is the church of the revolving door, especially when it comes to congregants. And I know that members, lay leaders, professional leaders come and go, but while the faces may change, I believe it's the need for liberal religion and its ideals that keep us here and relevant. However All Souls evolves, I hope, no, I trust that kind, thoughtful, and dedicated people will be here to welcome and to guide the searchers of Colorado Springs. And now, let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream.
All right. So today is Ask Minister Anything or Question Box Sunday. It's one of my favorite Sundays of the year just because it's fun and also I don't have to write a reflection that week. Although I love writing reflections, so the way this is going to work is you all, or not all of you, but lots of you submitted questions to the link, and I got them at 10 o'clock this morning. Haven't looked at them before that, and I will answer them as best I could. I deeply reserve the right to change my mind and be wrong. Also, what we've noticed over the years is, my 11th year of doing this, sometimes more than once in a year, is that these kind of break down into some predictable categories. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take it category by category, and this year it's pretty much broken down into like liturgical arts, tradition / congregational life, spirituality, and justice. So we'll do a little bit of answering of some of the questions, and then we'll sing a song, give me a chance to catch my breath and collect my thoughts, and then sort of rinse and repeat. So the first category that we're gonna dive into is something to do with liturgical arts, but even before that, some very broad and general questions, which I appreciate. One, how's it going? What's frustrating? What's encouraging? What's fun? So you all are fun. And it's the same answer to frustrating, actually. But that's congregational life. That's what it is. That's what we do here. We get together, 150 souls, each unique contributors to the whole cloth. And we have our own perspectives, and we rub up, metaphorically rub on each other until our edges are smooth. That's the beauty of congregational life. And honestly, there hasn't been hardly any frustration. I'm having a fantastic time, and I appreciate your indulgence mostly. And so that's a lot of fun. The next question is, what would I do if I won $1 million in the lottery? And despite the fact of fantasizing about that all the time, I have no answer. Oh, you can tell me? I think we'd redesign a bathroom for one thing. It'd be a really nice bathroom. Where could there be more space-time made in the congregation, Where could there be more space or time made for congregational deepening through art, story, and ritual? Well, I hope that we're doing a little bit of that on Sunday mornings. The Bone Story Collective, we just heard a story of Mother Winter today. I'm allowing the stories to sort of emerge as they want to, and then attaching that hopefully to our ceremony of the month, of which this month we do not have any. So we're sort of in this free form space right now, mundane time, and connecting the story to the theme of the day, to the theme of the month. Now, sometimes I'm able to do that better than others, and we're sort of groping our way through this and letting it mature on its own pace. And so I think that those myths and those stories will further evolve and round out our experience here on Sunday, and I will carry us hopefully further into those stories in my own reflections. So that's one way. Another way is in the late spring, we are going to be offering a adult programming class called Fire Tenders. Unfortunately, it's going to be a smaller group, but if you're interested in cultivating a real relationship, poetic relationship, reciprocal poetic relationship with the world, we're going to explore methods of doing that in that group. So that's another space. So the answer to the question is hopefully on Sundays, and then also in adult programming. Which of the UU sources do you feel are lacking or needing more nurturance here at All Souls? So I am both a fan of and also not really a fan of the sources. I feel like as a tradition, okay, I was just talking to Catherine earlier today about the lack of kids' books about Unitarian Universalism, right? There's like 2, and they're both about other religions. There's surveys of other religions, and I don't know how we're supposed to teach our children what it's like to be Unitarian Universalism by telling them about Buddhism and Islam. As fascinating and rich in wisdom as those traditions are, they're not us anymore. So I'm sort of, in a way, and you don't have to agree with me on this at all, but I'm kind of done with the sources. I mean, I will source from the sources, but they're not my main theme generator. I feel like it's time for Unitarian Universalism to become Unitarian Universalism. We have had a period where we did need to define ourselves as distinct by referencing other religions because we didn't really know who we were. But I sort of feel like now we are coming out of an adolescent period in our tradition, and it's time for us to mature into a tradition on our own and stop looking at others, but look to our own tradition, which is constantly evolving, which is exciting. What are the benefits of sharing our collection plate? Oh, wonderful. And is that practiced in other UU churches? It is practiced in a lot of UU churches. So this would be like the liturgical arts. This is why I put it in this section, because we do it here. And the collection plate, for me, is a spiritual practice of generosity. It is a weekly opportunity for your body to participate in an act of generosity such that you remember what that feels like all week long. I used to have a minister that said, give until it feels good, which I love. So this is an opportunity for us. Now, a lot of our collection plate currently goes to us most of the time. I'm not so sure if that's the most appropriate use of the collection plate. I would prefer it, in fact, whoever asked this question, if we could give half or all of our plate away. Then we are living into our mission as a congregation. The congregation will not starve. We have a pledge drive, and we have, thanks to you, generous people who sustain me and the spinning of the fans and keep the lights on here, right? So that could be done through our pledge drive, whereas our spiritual practice of generosity can be engaged with in our spiritual gathering every week and used to further the mission of the church in our community. So that happens at a lot of churches. We don't have to do that. We can do that, though. Could all souls please not show a preference to God, Christianity, and services, especially in our hymns? Sure. Oh, yeah, I don't know that I mean, if we have been, please let me know. I don't know that I've spoken a lot about either one of those. Although I am a big fan of the healer from Nazareth. You know, he got kind of co-opted by the powers that be, and something weird happened in the 4th century. But anyway, yeah, we'll look out for that, hopefully. Okay, in fact, I should have done okay, so we are with the sources. Pretend I'm answering the sources question now, because it's a great segue into our next hymn. Okay, we are not what we were, we are not the rest of the world, we are ourselves, and we are in a moment where we are building a new way. Can we do building a new way?
We sure can, Ron.
All right.
It's going to be in your teal hymnal, number 1017. Words will be on the screen. Please stand as you are able. We're going to sing verses 1 and 3.
Verses 1 and 3. We are
All right, I love this next question. Why are we here? I assume it's rhetorical, but I'll give you an answer anyway. By the way, this section is, I think of it as the questions about our tradition and our congregational life. So why are we here? Well, according to you all, you are here to connect and for community, right? We went over that. One of my first Sundays discovered that that's what you all think you're doing. I think you're doing it. I mean, you are doing it, and also you think you're doing it, so it's good. Yeah, so we are here to connect and to form community. And in both of those instances are ample opportunities for both spiritual development and justice making, right? Because connection, I believe, will naturally and organically, whether we're connected to each other, we're connected to our community outside of this church, and we're connected to some organizing principle. You may call it God or the universe or the Tao or simply whatever you want to call it, right? Connected to history, perhaps. Those connections ought naturally and organically to call us into action. And in fact, you could think of those connections, another word for connection on a deep and real level is love, right? So if we are discovering and encouraging and facilitating and cultivating love in this place, it will naturally call us into action in the world. So our spirit and our justice walk is the same walk, or deeply related anyway. So I agree with you, by the way, that we are here for connection and community. And of course, community doesn't have to be, but certainly includes this group, your neighbor, whoever you're sitting next to right now, and whoever you're going to drink coffee with after the service. But it could also include the trees, the mountains, the wind, your God, your history. That is also community. So in a lot of ways, connection and community, it's like I'm painting with watercolors with these things. And when I paint with watercolors, everything kind of blends into the same big glop. So connection and community to me become somewhat synonymous after enough reflection. I heard a rumor that this church was starting up an OWL program. Is this true? Our OWL stands for Our Whole Lives. It is a sex education and sexuality education course, and the rumors are true. We are starting an OWL class. In fact, we have just hired an OWL, what were we calling it? Dale, where are you? Specialist. And it's Heather Southard. Heather, you want to stand up for a second? Just say. So we just hired Heather. She's going to lead, what grades is it? First? K1 in late January 28th. And so if you have K1 kids, this is a super, super valuable, amazing program, kind of world-renowned within our tradition and well beyond our tradition. I first read about it in Oprah magazine, in fact. And it goes all the way from K-1, all the way, it's cradle to grave, really. So we will be offering more and more OWL courses in the coming months and years. Will the flower of love from Article 2 replace the 7 principles and 6 sources? Does anybody who doesn't know, does that sentence make no sense? If it makes no sense to you, raise your hand. Okay. So Article 2 is where Article 2 of the Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws, Article 2 of the bylaws is where our principles and sources live. Our currently 7 principles there. A lot of congregations have adopted the 8th principle. And the principles and sources live in the UUA there. It's a weird religion that has our most fundamental sort of doctrine in a bylaw, but there you go. We're very modern. And it's changing. It's actually, well, I don't know if it's changing, but it's up for change. It's supposed to be reviewed, that section, every 5, 10, or 15 years, I forget. And we are due. We're actually past due. We have changed those principles in the past. 1980 or 85, I think, is when we added the 7th principle, which is the one about the interconnected web of existence. So they've changed over time, and they might change again. They might, in fact, not look anything like they do now. So the principles and the sources taken out of the bylaws, replaced, yes, by what looks sort of graphically like a flower, which is a statement of values with love in the center and a number of petals of different values that sort of emerge from love. Does that mean that we have to stop using the principles or referring to the principles or sources? Well, if you're me, you're going to start referring to the sources maybe, but no, it doesn't. It doesn't any more than, although this will irritate some of you, like, we're not exactly Christian anymore, but we keep aspects of the Christian disposition and paradigm. I wouldn't say, then later on we became quite humanist, and I think we're moving out of that. And that doesn't mean that we're like ejecting the humanists either. And we're not rejecting our principles or sources. They are still valuable assets for this and organizing ideas for this religion, but they might be, depending on what GA, General Assembly, votes this May, they might be replaced by a new statement of values. And if you ask me how I would vote right now, I actually don't know. I don't know how I'd vote. I like them both in a way, but I don't think it's a slam dunk. I also think it's nice to renew things from time to time. And in our old principles, the word love appeared a grand total of 0 times. That's weird to me. Okay. Why is liberal apparently being removed from mission statement, and where do I stand? I think here mission statement might be referring to a UUA thing, because we haven't made any changes to our mission statement here. And I don't think the word liberal appears in our mission statement. It doesn't. So this must be referring to the UUA, and I'm not entirely sure what I think it has to do with the principles and sources again. The preamble? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. So sorry about that. What is the most important thing that all souls should be collectively working towards? So I think we should all be trying to save the world. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I get pretty grandiose with myself sometimes. And I was thinking, God, just are you trying to save the world? Is that why you got in this job? And then I was like, you know what? Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I sort of feel like we should all be trying to do that, right? With humility. Ask somebody else about that. No, with humility. With humility, we should be trying to save the world. We do that together, and we do that through building community and connection. So I think those are the most important things that all souls should be collectively working towards. And that happens not with only one thing. That happens with a number of things, right? That happens with our spiritual engagement and our justice work. And that justice work can take the look of a number of different walks, right? A number of different concerns that we are trying to do. And everything counts. Everything counts. Do you have a song for that?
I sure do, Ron.
All right.
We're going to sing again from the Teal Hymnal, number 1058, Be Ours a Religion. Please stand as you are able. We're just going to sing it through once.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple space, its shrine good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
Okay, this section, questions sort of grouped together as having to do with spirituality. There's a quote from John Lennon's Imagine. Imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try, no hell below us, above us, only sky. Is that enough for Unitarian Universalists? I think the question is, to whoever wrote that question, is that enough for you? Because if that's enough for you, I think we're good. That song irritates me a lot because I love John Lennon and I love that song. And then he says, imagine no religion. I'm like, no. I'm not gonna imagine. I can't imagine it, and it's not good. I don't think. I mean, people have been doing this dance literally since there's been people. We are a meaning-making vehicle. We need to be careful about the meaning that we make, but that's what we do. Yeah, so I think this kind of speaks to, I'm interested in whatever your theological, ontological perspective is, mythological perspective is. I and the rest of you also can meet whoever, where they are, and work with them in the vocabulary that they are most comfortable with and the orientation that they find the most meaning in. So that's the beauty of our tradition. We've got atheists in here. I've had Trinitarians, to my great dismay, who were very passionate Unitarians, which is a very strange thing, but it worked, and they were wonderful people. Even Trinitarians can be wonderful people. That did not come out right. But anyway, it's true. But yeah, so we work with each other where we are theologically, ontologically, existentially. What do I think about the word faith within Unitarian Universalism? I like it. I have faith in you. I have faith that every human has inherent worth and dignity, despite how sometimes we behave. And I think that faith is a saving thing. I struggle with that first principle, frankly, in these days, that every person has inherent worth and dignity. When I see the way some people act in this world, act on this street, right out here, sometimes act in the congregations that I serve, sometimes me. But that faith is a thing that if we just hold it and recognize it in one another, even the guy in the pickup truck with all the flags that honks the horn and goes up and down the street, even that guy, if I have faith that he has inherent worth and dignity and that I am connected to him and dependent on him, interdependent on him, then that faith begins to work on me and possibly on him and certainly the world. So I am a fan of faith. Faith just means you can't prove it, right? Someone else can prove that the world is interdependent. I can't. But it seems right to me, so I have faith in that. So I think it plays an important role, actually, in Unitarian Universalism, and it has nothing to do with a deity. It can, but it doesn't have to. What is my personal religion or ideology? Okay, to put a name to it, I think that I am a pantheistic animist. Okay? Does that work? And what that means is pantheism means that I think that there is spirit and divinity and sacredness in absolutely everything. theism, pan, everything, pantheistic. Animist means that there is spirit and an animating force in all things. So that's where I'm coming from. I feel like I could build relationship with the human and more than human world, and that's where I take a great deal of my meaning from. So that's my framing, and hopefully that comes through. You don't have to agree with that framing. You could be any number of different perspectives, but when I talk to you, I'll talk to you about your perspective, and you can engage me and encourage me on my path as well. What is a good mythology? Would Harry Potter serve? I don't think Harry Potter actually would serve as a good mythology. It's a good story. It's got some problematic things to it. I'm not sure what it's trying to teach us exactly. I think a good mythology, and what makes a story timeless is its capability of holding vast amounts of information, more information that's actually in the story. And that's kind of a skill that we've lost over time as Western folk. And it's one that I'm hoping that we can recover. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, a good story is a story that's orienting, I guess. So, a Harry Potter might be orienting to you, and if it is, I'm going to work with you and your vocabulary. And we'll talk about Dobby, which is not, some issues there. Okay. What is a Unitarian perspective on Jesus? It's hard to say what a Unitarian perspective is on anything in some ways. But my perspective on Jesus, I refer to Jesus as Joshua because that was the name his mama gave him. And I think he was a healer. I think he was a pivotal teacher in the, along with a number of others at that time in history that seemed like humanity needed to hear this message, and we missed it in so many ways. It's been 2,000 years and we're still trying to figure it out. So I deeply appreciate what changes he brought and the way that he was trying to undo empire. And we are still trying to undo empire, even as we, live off of it. How can I cope with existential uncertainty? I think this is an amazing question, and I'm running out of time. We have a whole other section to do, and I think the answer is love. We're all gonna die. The end is always nigh. The scale is bigger right now. But the only way I think that we ever get any meaning out of anything is to love, to find your connection to it, to cultivate relationship with whatever. And so to me, the antidote to existential uncertainty isn't that things are existential, that's a given. It's because of things are existentially perilous that we have to live into love. Yeah. I'm ready for you.
Okay, we've got an oldie but a goodie in the gray hymnal. We're gonna sing We Are Dancing Sarah's Circle, number 212. Why don't you just stay seated? We're just gonna sing, in the interest of time, verse 1 and 2. Dance in your pews while you see it as we sing 212.
We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. Sisters, brothers, all. Many are seen on our history. We are seen. Find our history, here we seek
Okay, lightning round. These are questions about justice. I got 3. How do you see our congregation reaching out to help the increasing number of unhoused and desperate people? I think this is a really wonderful question. And collaboratively is how, with first one another, figuring this out together, and a lot of participation from you all with each other, and collaboratively with other groups that are already existent who know how to do this work, that we can plug into. We do not need to reinvent the wheel. We're not interested in the credit. We want to be helpful. And so collaboratively is how I think we reach out to help the increasing number of unhoused and desperate. And by the way, one of the important things about that is that it's very tangible. A lot of the work that Unitarian Universalists do oftentimes is very intellectual and very systemically oriented. So we're constantly trying to change systems, which is extremely important. That's what causes the problem to begin with. But we oftentimes overlook like just suturing the wound. And we need to do that too. So we need to do both. And the question of unhousing is one where that is a really good example where we can do policy work and we can do immediate physical material reach out. So I hope we can do that collaboratively. How to manage the discovery that my taxes are used to support genocide. I don't know, they always have been. So that's not new. And I don't know what to do about it. I would say get involved, run for office. I do not like empty words. And I don't know that unless I'm willing to put myself into a position where I can have an effect, that I'm going to say much about anything. So, I don't know, Emerson, oh, he's not here, he's down in RE. Emerson's this tall today, and he was dressed better than me, which isn't normally very difficult to do, but he's not walking yet, really. But Emerson, his namesake, of course, was it Emerson or Thoreau? Help me out. Thoreau spent time in prison because he refused to pay his tax. So you could be mad about where your taxes are going, but I'm interested in what are we gonna do about it? And taxes go to help my kids go to school also. And they pay the fire department. So how do we get in and discern that? It's a very complicated question, and we're already over time. As you use, should we be for Israel and Palestine both and against Hamas? So we're in on a big one. Look, I don't know enough about that situation to make any kind of credible commentary on it. What I have known and sensed from the beginning is that this is a generational conflict that is not only between, but certainly between two of the most traumatized peoples on the planet. I don't know how we can expect hurt people, right? And in a way, that's all of us. So the advice that I got from a colleague was that the thing that we should do is to love each other and model that in the world. That's one thing that we can do. Act and pray and work for peace here and elsewhere. I don't know enough about the geopolitics of the situation to really dissect it for you, but I do know that people are suffering, and I want that to stop. And I want there to be more questions about justice than 3. We are a privileged group of people. We have the opportunity to make this world a better place. So I hope that in the future, we could really focus on that justice walk, informing and coming from our spiritual walk, enhancing our community with one another in the outside world, and enhancing our connection with the outside world and with our ordering principles. It's a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of breath. So let us sing about that. We're going to sing a meditation on breathing. You could stay seated for this as well, and I promise I'll have a very brief benediction.
If you want, you can close your eyes. This song was written by Sarah Dan Jones, and it was actually written in response to the Twin Towers bombing in 2001. And it is very much a justice song. If you've never listened to the song, it's actually titled When I Breathe In. Please join us in singing. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out. One more time. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
The only questions that remain are, do you want milk, oat milk, or sugar in your coffee? Let us go in peace, let us go singing, and let us go breathing.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out,